Hello, it is Mike Matthews, the host of the longest-running self-produced daily podcast. You are listening to it right now, Mike's Daily Podcast. In this show, there's so much happening that we didn't even know about, that you and I didn't know about until I dug into stuff and found out stuff. And I was thinking, I will pass this along to you. And then you can come with me and go and hang out at this cool place called Café Anyway. Yes, I sound a little congested. Don't worry, that's nothing. I tested myself. I don't have COVID. So here we go. You can wear a mask if you want, if you'll feel more safe. Or because we're getting close to Halloween, wearing a mask can be fun. Either way, come with me as I open the door to Café Anyway. Café Anyway. Welcome to Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, it's Mike Matthews. It's episode 2930, and I've got a podcast for you. It's called Mike's Daily Podcast. We're broadcasting from Café Anyway, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopica. 7-Elevens are closing up, not all over the place. I mean, maybe some near your particular space where you have them. Something like 444 locations across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are going to close. And it's an effort to streamline operations. Mike's Daily Podcast. The news was revealed in an earnings presentation by Tokyo-based company Seven & I Holdings. Podcast. The closure marks a significant shift for the convenience store giant known for its ubiquitous presence in North American neighborhoods and elsewhere. While specific locations affected have not been disclosed, the closures will target underperforming stores with a view to focus on higher demand areas. Traffic at North American 7-Eleven locations fell almost 8% in August and has been negative since early last year. This is in line with the inflationary pressures affecting other food-related industries. So there's all this, people are not going to restaurants as much anymore. Part of that was the prices went up. You may remember very well, a couple of years ago, the prices shot up. I'll never forget, there's this one coffee place I used to go to all the time that said, "We're sorry, we're going to have to boost our prices starting next week." And once they boosted their prices, they never came back down. And people are looking at how much they're paying for a sandwich and going, no. Or a burrito, no. And 7-Eleven is getting affected by it as well. The chain has also had to deal with, had to sell some American properties. So.
And here's today's podcast picture.
They're doing that. And the podcast picture, oh my gosh, I've been looking for a podcast picture. I think it's going to be something to do with Halloween last year. One of the ways that I used to be able to pull out a podcast picture rather quickly while doing the show was I had this certain Google backup that I used. That went away. That disappeared. It's gone. So I have to use other ways, and it takes me forever. It drives me crazy. Late great Basil the Boxer, he never went to a 7-Eleven as far as I know, but he probably would have enjoyed the hot dogs that roll around all day on those rollers, like they're on some kind of conveyor belt going nowhere. Let's say you're doing TikTok. Well, let's say you work for TikTok. You're a bit upset because they're laying off hundreds of staff worldwide, including a large number in Malaysia, amid potential efforts towards a wider use of AI in content moderation. I am going to take a break at this point here during the podcast and let you know that whatever is in the air that is driving my sinuses absolutely crazy, that is why my voice has changed substantially since the last show. It's driving me nuts, and I've been trying to sleep more and get caught up, maybe thinking that was it. Maybe I was sleep deprived. That hasn't helped. It's frustrating. So AI, TikTok, those two have been...
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
Dealing with each other. That according to Seeking Alpha and that last article from Newsweek. But they say at TikTok, we're making these changes as part of our ongoing efforts to further strengthen our global operating model for content moderation. We expect to invest $2 billion globally, and they're going to invest in trust and safety in 2024 alone. And they are continuing to improve the efficacy of our efforts with 80% of violative content now removed by automated technology.
Oh, Mike, you're such a creative soul.
All right.
Well, I didn't come up with that technology, but yes, they've got automated technology is supposed to help them with security. This doesn't sound, they're investing $2 billion. That doesn't sound like a company that knows that it's going to be kicked out of America next year. Maybe they know something we don't. In Malaysia, fewer than 500 employees in the country were impacted. The changes will impact people in several locations worldwide. The company was not able to provide precise figures. The staff, most of whom were involved in the social media platform's content moderation operations, received emails about their dismissal. And it comes on the heels of a plan by the Malaysian government to require social media platforms to apply for a regulatory license.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In August of this year, Malaysia's communications minister Fahima Fadzil said the major technology companies must adhere to local rules to continue operating in the country. It came after industry group Asia Internet Coalition, whose members include Alphabet's Unit, Google, Meta Platforms, and X. So that's basically everyone from Twitter to Facebook to Instagram, urged the government to pause the plan. What else is happening, Mike, at Café Anyway? Well, there's a lot of Kleenex boxes here at Café Anyway because of the sinus situation, but
right? Good.
Amazon CEO Andy Jassy made waves when he demanded that all employees return to the office 5 days a week. The proclamation seemed to validate similar demands made by executives like JP Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon and Goldman Sachs' David Solomon, and it's raised the question of whether others might follow suit. But it also flew in the face of researchers and their studies that have found hybrid work benefits companies. Oh yeah, and Elon Musk also told workers to come back, but then he went ahead and closed the whole operation in San Francisco. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, the last place on earth, in the land of Ameritopica. Laszlo Block, a former vice president for people operations at Google, said it's not like aspirin definitely helps with headaches. It's been proven again and again and again. The academic studies that have been done, and there are not that many, show a range of outcomes, and they generally show a kind of neutral to slightly positive regarding hybrid work. Almost 5 years since the start of the pandemic,
interesting.
Many CEOs are ready to move on from an experiment they never wanted to start. When we look back over the last 5 years, we continue to believe that the advantages of being together in the office are significant, said Jassy over at Amazon. Many of the executives who have been calling for employees to come back pointed to particularities of their business or industry that require in-person work. Hybrid work may be technically the best route, but it's also complicated to oversee, just as it is to make a bowl of chowder. Time is money, and CEOs may not want to spend their time deliberating over a decision about bringing workers back or figuring how to manage a hybrid workplace. That from the folks over at the New York Times. And then Gavin Newsom, his gas bill has cleared the Senate, and it now heads for a final vote to stop rising gas prices here in California. It requires oil refineries to maintain a minimum inventory. The Oscar goes to those of you who are able to survive with these crazy gas prices. Now, oil refineries to maintain a minimum inventory level to decrease price spikes. That's what this bill does during peak driving months, and to monitor when refineries undergo either planned or unplanned maintenances. Californians are one step closer to getting the protections they need against big oil's price spikes, said Newsom. And oh gosh, wow. So, you would think that overall everyone would be against any kind of price gouging in general. Oh my gosh.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about
the
that.
people I hear that are pro price gouging, well, or they just deny that price gouging exists. They think it's a non-issue. Yeah, they're on the far right. That's all they rant about. That and how FEMA is falling apart. That's what their revenge is against the Democrats. It's okay. Yeah, no, there's no price gouging. We don't have to regulate anything. Nobody's going to do anything. Try and make more money than they should illegally at the mercy of the poor people that are trying to get in their cars and put gas in there. So it's all about trying to help. If you live in California for more than a couple of years, you see that these prices go crazy. They spike through the roof. And yes, there are all these
all right.
weird taxes that are put on them, and we have to have a specific winter blend and all of this having to do with the environment. But it's something that I think a lot of people would be, hey, I agree with that. Go get them, Gavin, while you're still in office. And then finally, this horrible thing, a fatal gas leak at the Texas oil refinery prompts investigations. U.S. and Mexican investigators have begun probes of a fatal chemical leak at a Houston area oil refinery that happened last Thursday, owned by the Mexico's state oil firm Pemex.
Mike, you want to join in on this conversation? You can.
What's
join
this conversation?
You can.
Thank you for inviting me to join this conversation about horrible leaks. 2 contract workers were killed and up to 35 others treated for exposure to hydrogen sulfide gas during work on a unit at the 312,000 barrel per day refinery. It's located near Houston. 13 workers remained hospitalized. And let's see, it says, in 2021, Shell disclosed the agreement to sell its interest in Deer Park to its former partner Pemex for $596 million. Pemex's domestic refineries have for years suffered a series of accidents, including explosions and fires that have caused deaths in Mexico. And wasn't there some kind of chemical leak?
Live and loco.
It wasn't loco. Oh, I mean, it was loco that there was a chemical leak, but there was when was that in Tennessee? Trying to remember off the top of my head because it's going to be impossible to find it right now. But yeah, leaks. Well, be careful with the leaks. It's definitely loco, these leaks. Look who else is here. Hello, McBeth. This is Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. What do you mean, who else is here? Well, I mean, look who's here. Yeah, who else is here? You say that when you're done talking to me, and then you talk to someone else, Mike Matthews. Sounds like you have allergies, too. That's right, Mike Matthews, so I don't even want to talk about the snow globes that I sell. All right, look who else is here. Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. There might be something leaking in the atmosphere that's causing us these weird allergies. Yes, possibly.
Ridiculous random posts.
Well, hopefully you've enjoyed all these ridiculous random posts, but that's what's going on. Hopefully cheaper gas. Hopefully a 7-Eleven near you doesn't close unless you don't like them and think they're an eyesore. Then you're like, get out of here. And that's what's going on. What do you think about all that? You can call me here at this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228 4640.
Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Phone
This is
Parole.
Will You Shut Up, and I'm getting sick of all of these thieves stealing copper. Stop it! Thank you, Will You Shut Up. Yeah, there's a lot of copper thieves in the Bay Area, and what they need to do is find out who's actually buying the copper from them once they've stolen it. Simple solution to that problem. Why is that not being done? I need to make a call. I need to go online and find out why that isn't happening. But what do you think? To find out all things about us online, mikesdailypodcast.com is where you can go for that. And to find out all things about that, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully I'll be a little less congested next show.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!